Okay. Now we will see how will be the force exerted between any two charges. For example, if there are two charges, let this charge be Q1 and this charge be Q2. These two charges are separated by a distance of r, let it be. Now, what will be the force of attraction or repulsion? How will be the force exerted between these two charges? This was first studied by the scientist named Coulomb in the year 1785. So, this law we call it as the Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law tells you about the force of attraction or repulsion. If it is the like charges, they will repel. If they are unlike charges, they will attract. So, it may have either repulsive force or attractive force. So, in this Coulomb's law, we are going to study about the force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges just separated by a distance of r. So, he told us this force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges will be directly proportional to the product of the charges and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Together I can write this formula as F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by over r square. So, if I remove this proportionality sign, if I put equal to, I should introduce a constant. Let that constant be K, where K is called the constant of proportionality. K Q1 Q2 by r square. F equal to K Q1 Q2 by r square, where K is the constant of proportionality. Its value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, where epsilon naught is called the permittivity of free space or vacuum. What is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is nothing but the permittivity of free space or vacuum, and its value is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12 c square n power minus 1 m power minus 2. So, this is the value for your permittivity of free space. If I substitute this epsilon naught here and pi is 3.14 and it's a number 4. If I substitute this, the value of K is nothing but 9 into 10 power 9 n m square c power minus 2. So, this is the value of K. So, that is I can also write this as 1 pi 4 pi epsilon naught is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 n m square c power minus 2. So, these two values are very important. One is your epsilon naught value and what is the value of this constant? 1 pi 4 pi epsilon naught. And then if I substitute this in this force formula, what happens to this formula? For force according to Coulomb's law, I can write this as F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by r square, or I can substitute the value of K. This is nothing but 1 pi 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square. I can also write this as F is equal. Let this be as equation 1. Here the charges are situated in air or vacuum. Now, in this equation, if these two charges are having unit charge, that is the charge value or the magnitude of these two charges are 1 coulomb, that is the two charges of same magnitude are unit coulomb. If they are separated by a distance of 1 meter in air or vacuum, what happens to this formula? Substitute the values of Q1, Q2 in the above equation. So, if Q1, Q2 is equal to 1 coulomb and if they are separated by distance of 1 meter, what happens to this force formula? F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 into 1 by 1 square. So, we know this value. What is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught? Its value is 9 into 10 power 9. What is its unit? Newton meter square c power minus 2. Here These are nothing but your charges. Coulomb into coulomb, it will become C square. And here I have distance, denominator. So its value is, so unit is for distance, unit is meter. So it is square, this meter square. So what happens to this? It gets cancelled. So finally I will be getting F is equal to 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. By this I can also define the definition for 1 coulomb. How I can define 1 coulomb? That is nothing but the unit per charge. I can also define the unit of charge 1 coulomb as 1 coulomb is defined as the quantity of charge which when placed at a distance of 1 meter in air or vacuum from an equal and similar charge experience a repulsive force of 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. In this way I can define the definition for coulomb. How I can define? It is nothing but the quantity of charge which when placed at a distance of 1 meter in air or vacuum from an equal and similar charge will experience a repulsive force of 9 into 10 power 9 Newton. So in this way I can define the definition for 1 coulomb. Now if these charges are situated or placed in a medium of permittivity epsilon, if these two charges, so let this be as equation 1. Now where are the charges situated? They are placed in a medium. They are placed in a medium of permittivity epsilon. What happens to the Coulomb's law? Coulomb's force F is F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. If it is placed in air or vacuum, we have to put epsilon naught. But here the charges are in a medium of permittivity epsilon. So what happens to this formula F? F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon or epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. Let this be as equation 2. So this is for air or vacuum, this is for any medium Fm. Now if you divide equation 1 by 2, just divide equation 1 by equation 2. What happens? F by Fm equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square into reciprocal 4 pi epsilon R square by Q1 Q2. So what gets cancelled? 4 pi, 4 pi. Q1 Q2, Q1 Q2. R square, R square. So what is the remaining? F by Fm is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. So here the ratio between these two forces when they are kept in the air or vacuum to that of the medium is nothing but epsilon by epsilon naught. This ratio we call it as the relative permittivity epsilon R. So this ratio we call it as relative permittivity epsilon R. Now I can write this epsilon R is equal to nothing but the ratio between permittivity of a medium to that of the free space or vacuum. I can also write this epsilon R is equal to ratio between the forces when they are kept in air or vacuum to that of the medium. So again these two formulas are very important. That is the relative permittivity formula based on epsilon and based on the force. For air or vacuum, this epsilon R value is equal to 1. That is also very important. So epsilon R is equal to 1 for air or vacuum. If it is Fm, how I can write this? How to find out the force of attraction or repulsion if the charges are kept in a medium? Fm equal to F by epsilon R. Again this formula is also very important. So this is your Coulomb's force. Coulomb force, what it tells us? Just tells you about the force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges if they are kept in a medium or in air or vacuum. Formula is F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Now We have defined the definition for 1 coulomb, and we have seen what is the definition for what is Coulomb's law, and we have seen these 3 important formulas also. Now I will go for some questions. First one, what is the fundamental unit of electric charge? E value. Second one, what is the value of epsilon r, and what is the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught? Next one, when glass rod, take down this question. When glass rod is rubbed with silk, when glass rod is rubbed with silk, what charge the glass attains, and what is the charge attained by the silk cloth? Fourth one, when ebonite rod is rubbed with fur, what is the charge attained by the ebonite rod, and what is the charge attained by the fur? Sixth one, give all the examples for like charges repel and unlike charges attract. What are the examples given in your reader? You want to list out all the 5 examples given in your reader for like charges repel. That is the property of attraction or repulsion between any 2 charged bodies. Seventh one, what is epsilon r equal to? Epsilon by. So based on epsilon, can you write the formula for epsilon r, and one more formula based on the force, and this epsilon r value for air or vacuum. What is its value? For air or vacuum, what is the value of epsilon r? So these and all we have seen now. Then the 10th one, give some examples for conductors and insulators. Examples for conductors and insulators. 11th one, what is the formula for Q equal to? Q is equal to, based on the quantization of electric charge, how to find out the total charge of any system. Write the formula. Then I will go for some problem. First one, in your reader, page number 'So in the self-evaluation questions, I will give you a question. What happens when a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth? The silk acquires a charge of, first question, when glass rod is rubbed with silk, it acquires a positive charge of 8 into 10 power minus 12 coulomb. So the silk acquires a charge of plus 8 into 10 power minus 12 coulomb. You want to find out the number of electrons, it has gained or lost. So you want to say, when a glass rod is rubbed with silk, it is acquiring a positive charge of this much magnitude. You want to say how many electrons it has gained or lost. So what is the formula for this? We know that by quantization of electric charge, Q is equal to Ne. So we know that what is the value of E? E is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. You want to find out what is the N. N equal to Q by E. Can you solve it? Q value is given, E value is also given. Substitute these 2 values, solve it, and you write the answer. So what is the value of Q here? 8 into 10 power minus 12 by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So I can remove this decimal point in the denominator. What I have to do if I want to remove at the decimal point in this denominator, can I multiply by 10? So if I here multiply by 10, the numerator also I should do the same change. So what happens in the numerator? It will become 80 into 10 power minus 12 by 16 into 10 power minus 19. I can also write this as 8 into 10 power minus 12 plus 1. So here 1 by 2 into 10 power minus 12 plus 1 plus 19. So 1 by 2, how many electrons? 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5 into minus plus 1 plus 19 is 20 plus 20 minus 12 plus 20 is 10 power 18. If I want to write this in 5, 0.5, if I want to write this in 5, what it will happen? 10 power 18 minus 1. So it will become 10 power 17. So here n equal to 5 into 10 power 7, 8 is 7. So minus 12 plus 20 is 8. Here it is 0.5 into 10 power 8. So here if I write this as 5, it will become 10 power 7. Since it is gaining a positive charge, what that means? Whether it gains electrons or it loses electrons. Here the silk cloth is gaining a positive charge. So if it gains positive charge, what that means? It will lose the electrons. So 5 into 10 power 7 electrons last. This is the answer you are getting. When a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth, how many electrons it will be last? 5 into 10 power 7 electrons last. Next one. Now we have seen in this Coulomb's law. You know the formula for Coulomb's law. Go for the second problem, the self-evaluation sum. Number 2. The electrostatic force between 2 point charges kept at a distance d apart. That is second problem. There are two. Okay. Now, there are two charges. They are separated by a distance of d. It is kept in a medium of force Fm equal to 0.3 Newton and this relative permittivity value is 6. If the force, what happens to the force between them? at the same separation if these two charges are kept in vacuum. Now these two charges are situated in a medium of epsilon r equal to 6. What is the force of attraction or repulsion when they are situated in a medium? It is 0.3 Newton. What happens if these two charges with the same separation they are kept in a air or vacuum? This is the question they are asking. You want to find out what is F. We know that relation epsilon r equal to F by Fm. So these two values are given. You want to find out what is F. That is the force of attraction or repulsion if these two charges are kept in air or vacuum. F equal to Fm into epsilon r. What is Fm? 0.3. Epsilon r value is given as 6. It will be 1.8 Newton. So when these two forces are kept in air or vacuum, the same separation, the force of attraction or repulsion between these two charges will be 1.8 Newton. Now, coming to the charges in an electrostatic field, we can compare the charges in an electrostatic field to that of the masses in a gravitational field. So, how I can compare the charges in an electrostatic field? The charges in an electrostatic field are analogous to the masses in a gravitational field. How the masses are in a gravitational field, same way the charges are there in a in an electrostatic field. So here is a question to find out whether this electrostatic force is greater or this gravitational force is greater. We will compare and we will find out which force is greater, whether the gravitational force or the electrostatic force. Here is a question for that. Just compare the magnitude and of the electrostatic and gravitational force between an electron and proton. You want to compare the electrostatic force and gravitational force between an electron and a proton at a distance of r apart in hydrogen atom. So here the electron is given and the mass of the proton is given. They are separated by a distance of r in an hydrogen atom. You want to compare these two forces and you have to find out which force is greater, whether gravitational force or the electrostatic force. The given data is, already we have studied about the force of attraction in a about the masses in a gravitational field. Here the mass of the electron is given as 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg and mass of the proton 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg and G value and the charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, and thus G value is given as 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 Newton meter square kg per minus 2. Now we will write the formula for this Fg and for Fg. Fg is equal, that is the gravitational force formula is Fg is equal to G, where G is called the gravitational constant, m1 m2 by r square, and by Coulomb's law we know that this electrostatic force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Here that masses are nothing but the mass of electron and the mass of proton. So I can write this as simply me and mc. Now we are going to compare these two forces. So Fe by Fg is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square by this Fg value. So if you take the reciprocal, it will be r square by G me, mass of the electron and mass of the proton. R square gets cancelled. So what is the remaining? Fe by Fg is equal to 9 into 10 power 9, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 power 9 into Q1, Q2. Here Q1, Q2 are nothing but the charges of the electron and the proton. It is nothing but 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So I want to square it. So I can write this as 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Again 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole divided by G. What is here? G, gravitational constant. Its value is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. And the mass of the electron is given as 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 kg into mass of the proton is 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. Now, we are going to solve this equation using log. We will see how to solve this problem. First, just you take the numerator value and for denominator. First, you take the log. What is the value of log 9? Log 1.6, log 1.6. Here, what happens to this? It is a whole number is 1, so it will become 0 point. Here also 1 whole number, so it is 0 point. Here also 1 whole number. Now, we will find out what is the log 9. Just you find out what is log 9. See here in the logarithm what is 90, 0. It is in logarithmic table you see in 90 the 0 value it is 9542. 9542. Then for log 1.6 you just see in the logarithmic table 16, 0. For 16, 0 you will be getting 2041. Again the same thing 2041. So since all the values in the numerator are multiplied, if it is multiplication you want to add all the values. Here it will become 4, 12, 1 balance it is 6, 13, 1 balance 1 point. Then we will go for the denominator. Just take log 6.67. What is the log? 9.11 and log 1.67. Here it is 1 whole number, so it will become 0 point. Again here also 0 point. Here also 0 point. You take the log for all this and you add. Here you want to see in the logarithmic table 66. What is 7? In 66, 7 you will be getting 8241. 8241. And for 91, 1 will be getting 9595. And for 16, 7 will be getting 2227. Add all these 3. 13, 1 balance, 10, 16, 1, 5, 7, 8, 10, 1 balance, 20, or it is 2 points. So, we add on, we have found the log for both the numerator and denominator. And I am going to divide the numerator by denominator. So, if it is in division, you want to subtract the numerator with the denominator. So, I will subtract 1.3624 minus 2.0063. Subtract these two values. What you will be getting? This 1, borrow will become 6, here it is 5, here it is 3, 1 minus 2 is minus 1, that is bar 1. So here for this 0.3561 you want to take the antilog. Antilog of 0.3561. Just see what you are getting in antilog. 0.356 mean difference 1. For 0.356 mean difference 1, you will be getting 0.2271. So, you will be getting 0.2271. So, I simplified both the numerator and denominator using log. Now, you just go for the powers of 10. So, at last, after simplification, what I got? Fe by Fg is equal to 0.2271 into 10 power. You add all the powers of 10 in the numerator. Minus 19 is minus 38. Minus 38 plus 9, it will become minus 20. Yes, minus 29. So, in the numerator I am getting as minus 10 power minus 29, and in the denominator, see here 10 power minus 11 minus 31, it will become minus 42, minus 42 minus 27, it will become minus 69. So, in the denominator you will be getting 10 power minus 69. So, if it goes to the numerator, it will become plus 69. So, just simplify the powers of 10. I will be getting 0.2271 into 10 power 40. Isn't it? Minus 29 plus 69 is minus plus 40. Now, you want to write the ratio between these two forces in scientific notation. So, I can write it as 2.27. If I put 2.27, it will become 10 power 39. That means, so what we are going to see here, I am going to compare this electrostatic force with the gravitational force to find out which force is greater, either the gravitational force or the electrostatic force. So, this electrostatic force is equal to 2.27 into 10 power 39 times the gravitational force. So, here which force is greater? This electrostatic force is greater, that is 2.27 into 10 power 39 times the gravitational force. So, which force is greater? This electrostatic force is greater than the gravitational force. So, this is a very important sum. Then, we will go for the exercise problem based on the Coulomb's law.